Oh, it's live. Shit.
Not live. Live now?
It's live.
Are we live? Are we live?
Yeah, it's live.
Good evening. Welcome to Vape Talk UK, episode number 88.
Live now.
I've still got
live.
live. Good evening. Well,
well done, mate. Well done. Good start.
There's always one. Good evening. Yes, this evening, you may have heard about tonight's show. We're going to be doing the mass debate live on air. There's been a lot trolling around recently about the whole authentics and clones malarkey, but tonight we're going to try and put that to bed. You'll notice that we're missing a couple of people this evening. However, I'm sure they'll be with us at some point. I know Rick's leg fell off or something. He's having it reattached. So
I believe Rick's getting cloned, and Tom's too authentic for this show now.
I'm pretty sure Tom might be joining us at some point this evening. Hey, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Anyway, what you vaping?
What am I vaping? I've got one of each today. One regulated, one Mac. Oh, is that me echoing through you?
Am I echoing?
I can hear myself. Am I coming through from you?
I've turned myself down.
Must be what it is. So I've got a little RX-75 today. One of them little bastards.
Ooh.
With the armor tank that comes with it.
How you finding it?
Really surprised how good this tank is. Don't know what it is lately. I seem to just keep discovering tanks that aren't shit. But apparently this got a load of bad reviews. A lot of people said that this tank was a bag of shit. And I don't have a problem with it. It's a good vape.
What were people saying it was shit?
People would say it does get hot, and that was one of the things people were crying about.
But you like a nice low build, don't you?
Yeah, it's not a rebuildable anyway. It's a stock coil. It's a 0.2 parallel stock coil. But people were saying that the flavor was shit, that the coils didn't last 5 minutes, blah, 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 you know, usual things that people bitch about tanks. And I've had no issues with it, none at all. In that, I've got that little beauty. Bit of Felon 11 from 1111. Which I believe, I think this company is actually owned by the same guy that owns Dinner Lady.
Oh, okay.
But these taste like what it says on the bottle.
What, like 11?
Tobacco. It's tobacco.
So what does 11 taste like?
Tobacco. the number 11 tastes like tobacco. Yeah, I think this is the Dinner Lady guy, and unlike Dinner Lady, these taste like the things that they claim to taste like. So that's fucking delicious. I'm enjoying that. And then I've got my Endless Clean tan and silver. I traded in I originally got a stainless cap for it, because I didn't realize that the button they were sending me was silver. I thought the button that they were sending me was also stainless. So I was going to go sort of stainless top and bottom. And then I got the silver button, and Steve at work very kindly let me trade in my stainless cap for a silver cap. So I've now got silver.
Matchy.
Exactly, yeah. Even the inside of the tube is silver plated.
That's just pretentious, no?
And on that, I've got fucking that. Lemon 11 from Miami Drip Club. So for some reason, both the juices I'm vaping tonight have 11 in the name.
Yes, I am.
Juan's asking, how's tobacco? Yeah, that 1111, Felon 11, mate. Very, very good. Very true tasting tobacco vape.
I've been loving Miami Drip Club's Little Havana.
Yeah, Little Havana's lovely. I've got a bottle of that.
Can't get enough of it.
It's good stuff. Oatmeal cookie, honey, and tobacco, right?
Yeah.
Delicious. What are you vaping on, mate? What are you vaping on?
Yeah, mine's all a bit boring this week.
No.
But I've switched it up on my juices. I've given Akina a rest because we're nearly out of stock. This week I'm sat on my Hurricane Junior.
Oh.
Just got them into stock. Thought it's only fair to test the stock.
Only fair.
Mate, honestly, words cannot describe how impressed I am.
Oh, it's a house for flavour, isn't it?
just, you know what? With tanks, apart from the Sherman, I have never been impressed. There's nothing that's really screamed out at me and gone, you know what? This is an amazing tank. I built this single coil, 0.3, 6 wrap, 23 gauge wire doctor. Wrapped it, stuck the coils in, lovely to build on. Wicked it up, juiced it up, and then sat there and waited for it to leak. And it didn't.
And it didn't. Nice. Good result.
And then sat there tugging it, trying to get a dry hit.
Classic Dolan, always tugging it.
Indeed. And yeah, not had a dry hit yet. So no, well impressed. On that is my Minikin. Running bake sale.
Oh, is that yellow cake batter stuff?
Yellow batter cake.
Yeah, we're getting that in.
It's delightful. It is delightful. I do like pineapple though, but I like a nice, good, fresh pineapple, and this does that.
Yeah, no, it sounds like one that I really want to try. I can't wait for us to get that in. I'll probably pick a bottle up on Saturday.
No, it's really, really, really good. And in my other hand, to go with the flow of the show, just to show I'm not a complete brick, I've got an HK25 clone. Let's keep it real, 25mm, 2-deck, twin post Kennedy. And on that, TYV hazelnut latte.
Fucking hell.
Loving my coffees at the minute. Absolutely loving.
Have you tried that Patrol coffee and donuts?
No.
Don't.
Not tried that yet.
Just don't bother. It's just all coffee and no donut. It's really fucking annoying. I thought to myself, coffee and donuts, that's going to be like a king vape.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's fucking, I love coffee and it's just too much.
We've just had barista brewing, and I've had to have words with myself because I've done 2 60ml bottles already. Have you tried it yet?
What's that?
Barista brew.
No. Fucking get me some down.
Ooh.
Get me some down.
It's a lovely coffee.
Lovely coffee.
It is a lovely coffee. Strong but not bitter coffee, with a salted caramel after.
Has it got saline in it?
Saline?
Yeah.
Well, like salt water?
Yeah.
All right, I'm with you now. I thought I was being stupid.
Apparently it's a bit of a thing, isn't it? Saline in salt water, like saltwater taffy and all that sort of thing. They use actual salt water to get the flavour right.
Yeah, maybe, possibly, kinda.
Certainly sounds delicious.
It's very, very good. Right.
So,
go on.
Where's Mr. Withall?
I don't know. He's perhaps still having his leg reattached.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder if we should try and get hold of him. Just, let him know that there's a show tonight. See if he's interested. He might fancy it,
Maybe he's quit again.
He could have quit again. That is the kind of thing he does, to be fair.
That's because he's not a big deal.
But I see 100% of the times he's quit, he's unquit so far. So, he's a bit of a flip-flopper, really.
Nothing wrong with that. So anyway, to put this evening into context, then we'll let everyone talk about what they're vaping when they arrive. This week, over the past couple of weeks, actually, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of bitching, a lot of sniding about clones and authentics. Now, we've got him. He's here.
Hey.
Morning.
There's
Everything fucking works for once. I had the same technical difficulties getting in. I would have got in 5 minutes ago, but
Could you not get him through Chrome?
no, I'm in through Chrome now. I've restarted PC.
I restarted and it didn't fucking work for me.
It's because you're gay.
It's because Chrome's a dickhead.
Because you're fucking gay. Right, okay, so what's this show?
Something about China.
Authentics.
Show 88, the mass debate.
We've had one of those before, I think.
Isn't it two fat ladies?
No, that's Soggy Biscuit, sorry.
2 fat ladies, isn't it? Rick and Tom?
I don't know where I am. I need to get.
Tell us what you're vaping on, Rick. Do that.
Oh, I don't even know right now.
Classic Rick.
Give me a minute to get started. Hang on. Hi, Rick. Hi, Dale. Right.
Happy Vapor says, "Where's Big Tom?" We don't fucking know.
Big Tom's in Birmingham.
We could check Google Earth. You can see him from space.
Did I say Birmingham? I meant Sheringham. Don't even know what that fucking means, to be fair. Right, what am I? Oh, mate. Right, I think I found my personal favourite setup ever.
Till next week.
And I'm not going to tell you what it is. No. Minikin V2, right? Which I fucking love, by the way. Oh, Stuart. Rick, where you at? I'm here, mate.
Hello, Rick.
And a Serpent Mini 25. Ooh.
I don't really much rate the Minikin 2.
That's because you're an argumentative fuckwit.
No, just touchscreen does my head in a bit. It's all like fun to unlock.
Well, it's not really touch. Yeah, but once you got it set, you don't fucking play with it, do you, you donkey?
Yeah, I suppose not. I suppose not. I don't know. Just when I demo it for people, it annoys me. People ask me about it. You get it out, stick some batteries in it, show them how it works, and by the end of it, you want to fucking kill yourself.
I highly rate it. And the battery life, I don't know why, it just goes on for fucking ever.
Hey, variety is the spice of life, Rick. That's the thing.
I was very busy today in the shop, in terms of fucking doing a lot of shit, and I was on my own, and I only went through one set of batteries. That's how much I vaped today. Not a lot.
Not a lot. No.
Fuckwit.
So it's got nothing to do with the mod being awesome. It's the fact you've just not vaped much today.
Well, I've not vaped much today, no. Well, you know, a mod can't extend battery life.
Yeah, it can. Doesn't it use that weird fucking pulse width bollocks that the other one?
Yeah, but that's just fucking technology. I don't know nothing about technology.
That extends battery life, doesn't it? Because it creates wattage when there's not as much voltage in the batteries.
Well, I don't know, because then is it pulsing it higher?
I don't know, Rick. I don't know. I thought that was just why the Minikins lasted longer.
Well, if you don't know, why the fuck are you commenting on it?
Because I was asking a fucking question, you slave.
Have a blue fucking battery case, you dickhead.
Thank you.
Yeah. No one cares. You're not a big deal.
Not as big as you, anyway.
Thanks for setting up the show, by the way.
You're very welcome, mate. Always here to help you.
That's what I'm vaping on, and I'm not really vaping this, but I say it because it's in my hand. Key lime cheesecake. I've actually got lemon waffle, but I'll be going over to that in a minute.
Nice.
I've been on a little bit of a tank wanker mission this week. So Friday, actually, it's in my bag. It's in my bag. I'm gonna bin it or smash it up. So Friday, I bought the ABS Ace tank. Right.
Nice tank.
Big bag of wank.
Don't like it.
Fucking dry hits galore. No matter how you wick it, it's absolutely fucking.
Found mine all right.
And the ceramic coils are bollocks on them. But yeah, so that's a bag of shit. Anybody wants that, just drop me the postage and I'll fucking send it to you. And then I bought the iJoy Tornado. Actually, very fucking decent. It was very fucking decent until I got that on Monday. And that's just the winner chicken dinner.
So Serpent Mini 25, you reckon that's the one to go for, do you?
Serpent Mini 25. You're looking for a rebuildable tank, which isn't too. I mean, look at the fucking height difference on that.
Yeah, it looks all right. I'm happy with my Wismec armor.
Hashtag free shit from Rick. By the way, don't just drop me a message. We'll work out some sort of giveaway for this or something. I think we'll do it. Yeah, crack on. I'm done. I'm going to mute myself and watch the fucking shitstorm unfold.
Hey, there would be a shitstorm. If there is, I blame Stu. Anyway, so as I was saying earlier, the reasons behind the masturbate tonight is there's been a lot of shit kicking off recently between Camp Authentic and Camp Clone. Now, I know I don't get involved with the dramas. I don't get involved with arguments. I don't really get involved. I sit back, I listen. But I thought it'd been an interesting one to talk about this week. And we're being told echo, 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 by the way, guys.
I think it might be you, Dolan. Yeah, it's you.
I'll come back in.
Okay.
This always happens, doesn't it? Someone always has some sort of problem with their kit.
I love the fact that everybody says it's echo, guys, on Rick's side. I'm wearing fucking headphones, mate.
Literally can't echo.
Literally no echo here.
Not possible. Not actually possible.
That's bad.
It could be me, but I know how to set my equipment up.
No, it's Dolan. We can see the little.
Yeah, it's Derpy Dolan.
Put the batteries in the wrong way.
Derpy Dolan, the battery king.
What you said about not Mac, Clone?
Yeah, but I've been watching recently on Mac Addiction. There's been a lot of shit kicked off recently, and I thought this could be a good forum to talk it out politely and sort of have a nice, simple, non-abusive conversation about it. Now, we've got a handful of guests joining us this evening. Our first two guests are from the industry. I'll introduce them when they come in. And we've also got a couple of guys that are not necessarily industry as such, but they're end users.
Can I just say I'm really excited about this because I do not know who the fuck you've got coming.
No, neither do I. I've got no idea.
It could be some complete cunt. It could be someone I like.
I know one person. I know one of the people that's coming in, and just that in itself is funny enough.
To be fair, Paul Harrison's in the chat, so I'm going to guess it might be him.
Do we need to start inviting people in? Do we need to let people come and join us and say hello? I'm just going to send links over to them.
Yeah, the show might actually be a little bit clunkier than usual tonight because we've got that waiting for people to come in sort of thing. So
yeah, that's why I'm doing this before I carry on.
Yeah, me and Rick will do our best attempt at filling, not letting any of that dead air happen.
Yeah, so the first part of the show, we put a post up on Mech Addiction and asked for people's thoughts and just had a few comments, and everyone played rather nicely. Everyone was.
What is that the bit where Ben Gardner said no bitching, and then there was about 20 posts of people bitching?
Well,
the person who was bitching was just Dale. Dale picked a fight with himself.
Kind of guy he is. He actually now looks like David off what Little Britain. Now he shaved his beard off, which is very, very nice to see.
Okay, so
have we got 2 minutes to talk or what?
We've got our first guest just about to join us. I'll let him introduce himself. From the industry, a retailer, and when he comes in, I'll let him explain who he is and what he does and why he's here, and then hopefully Paul will join us from the other team.
From the other team. I thought it was friendly. Let's not have teams.
Oh no,
can I just apologise about my my t-shirt? It's just something put on today, wasn't it?
It clashes well with your green.
It's very, very red.
I thought we got James in for a minute.
Oh, is someone actually coming in, or are you just trolling?
It's just Dolan's biggest wind up to date.
No, they've both got links. They've both seen links. All they got to do is click the link. I'm sure I sent them the right link.
You probably no.
No, I definitely sent them the right link. Paul's just signing in.
We'll get there eventually. Be all right.
We will.
What you should have done, right, is got them in before the show and just hid them from the broadcast, and then just bring them in as and when you want.
Yeah, that could have worked.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that.
What are you vaping on anyway, Dolan? I don't know this. What?
Me, I got my Hurricane.
Oh, okay.
He's gone all high end on us now.
Good evening, all.
And we have Alex. Good evening, Alex. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Jolly good, jolly good.
Down.
And Alex is gone. So that was Alex.
We're going to have to turn him up a bit. He's well quiet.
I'm back, sorry. I left my vape.
No worries, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks, guys. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad. Surviving. This is Alex. For those of you that don't know him, tell us a little bit about yourself, Alex.
So I've been vaping for about 4 years now. Started off using clones. I've since seen the light and moved away from that personally. I recently opened a vape shop back in 2015. Been in and out of all the Facebook groups for the past 3.5 years, basically.
What's the name of your vape shop, Alex?
Cheeky Vape.
Cheeky Vapes. There we go. And what side of the fence do you sit on as far as the whole clone authentic thing goes?
I'm definitely in Camp Authentic.
Your Camp Authentic.
Indeed.
And nice Bjork t-shirt as well. When
Phew.
it's all so quiet.
So he only vapes Camp Authentics.
Indeed, yes. We do.
So I'm guessing Paul's going to be in Camp Clone.
I'll let Paul explain himself. Obviously, Paul's in a very different situation to most retailers. Obviously, Paul stocks clones, but he also manufactures his own mod. Obviously, he's got the endless range, so he has got his own range of authentics. But I'll let him make his decision. You know, I'm pretty sure he's on Camp.
If he ever decides to join us.
So whilst I'm waiting, what made you change your mind about the sort of clones to authentic side of things?
Just several shit experiences with clones, like insulators melting out, screws threading. You get them, and the post holes are half the size that the original is. When you do a 20 gauge build, you can't fit them in. It got frustrating trying to expect the same specs you get from the genuine and not getting it.
But at the same time, there have been quite a few authentics that come out which have issues, like switches sticking and stuff like that. Albeit probably a lot less than what a clone would have, but yeah, there are still issues.
No, I completely agree. You know, there are many issues with anything, but you know, at least with 9 times out of 10, if a genuine product has good support, they'll rectify the problem, send correction parts, or offer a fix or a solution, or offer you a discounted replacement. They'll actually make an effort to do it right. Whereas when you buy a clone, that is it. You're kind of stuck with it. And
yeah,
people say for £10, what do you expect? They've got no interest in helping you.
Yeah.
Where's my oh look at this. Hang on, I'll try fucking stay at that.
Nice.
Yeah, that's not what to do, kids.
Keeps his desk nice and tidy, Rick does.
Yeah, I didn't mean kids then, as in like kids. But like, I don't know if this happens on the authentic, but my magnets are fucking shattered into a million pieces on that clone. But to be fair, and this is dirty as fuck, ever since I got this off, look how dirty that is.
That is filthy, Rick.
Ever since, yeah, like my mind masturbates. I actually said that right then. Ever since I've had that, I've actually been sort of slightly sided towards the authentics, and hence why I got the V2.
Rick, if you had to pick a camp, what camp would you be in?
Oh, see, I can see logic in both, and there is a very good argument. I think, for the sheer amount of clones out there, they help promote the authentics. I think if you didn't have the clones, then there would be nowhere near as many sales to the authentics.
I could partially on that, but on the same token, if you get a shit clone, then chances you wanting to buy a genuine version might put you off.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, I don't know how you've been vaping, but I've been vaping 4 years. And when I started vaping, things like the Mephisto had just come out, Nemesis was all the rage, Stingray had just come out, and they were ridiculously expensive. Like £150 for a tube mod back then was like a lot of money. 65
£150 now is still a lot of money.
Well, it's considered pretty cheap these days.
Yeah, I know, compared to some of the ones out there. Do you know what? When I first started vaping, I started off on, I progressed up to a Vamo V5 and a Nautilus, and like, I think the most I ever spent on a mod back then was a Sigeli 150, was it?
Yeah, they're about 70 quid.
Yeah, they're about 70, 80 quid, and it's mental.
No onboard charging, nothing. Literally, you have to buy a separate charger.
So,
It's like to start out building, you know, when you're a new vapor as well. Clones kind of do make sense as a new vapor because 3 years ago you bought authentic or you bought a clone, and if you didn't know how to build properly and you fucked up an authentic potentially, you'd really feel it. Like you'd be like, shit, I've just fucked a £70 natty. Like what the fuck do I? And for a begin, but then the market's progressed now, and with Waterfo out now, you can buy an authentic Atty for sub 20 quid.
Yeah.
So these days, there's absolutely no need for clones whatsoever because there are budget authentic available.
Yeah, but they're not as cheap as clones, to be fair.
Yeah,
Well,
let's not forget the people that are on JSA and stuff like that. You know, fucking the Jeremy Kyle types.
Not taking sides, but being realistic, you can buy a clone setup from a B&M for like 40 quid for a full setup. You can buy it from China for like 25 quid for a full setup.
Yeah.
Stu, I want you to take sides.
Yeah. But again, there isn't a side that I can fully take. I mean, at the moment, I'm vaping all authentics. I don't own any clones. But
hang on,
why?
Why? Because I prefer the quality of authentics, prefer the build quality, prefer the support, prefer the customer care.
Where's your road?
So you're not just buying a product either when you buy authentic. You're buying aftercare. You're buying that there's bits and pieces, the availability to get stuff. Because, for example, I think there was one Atty at the recent, like the Nada, an absolute unicorn for a lot of vapors to get hold of. The clone had metric screws, so you couldn't buy a clone and then get replacement parts if you needed it. You'd have to go and then actually source the screws, because when you look for specs, the genuine owners would give you specs of an imperial threaded item.
Same as the Kennedy coins.
Yeah, same thing then, yeah.
Yeah, Martin makes a very good point. It's the clone packaging that he disagrees with. Why clone the packaging? Dangerous when people think they're buying an authentic. That is a real issue. You know, it's one thing to clone a product. It's another thing to pass it off as the real deal.
But I put that down to vendors personally. You know, if a vendor wants to sell a clone item, knowingly or unknowingly in some circumstances, depending on who it is, at a genuine price, then that's another reason why you shouldn't sort of support clones, because you don't know who's going to be getting them and who's getting ripped off.
I do want to make a quick point about Martin. Martin is off in. Here he is. Good evening, Paul. How are you?
Good evening.
You well?
Yeah, not too bad. I had some technical difficulties.
These
These fucking clone laptops.
No, I don't want to make a good point actually about Martin. Martin was known as Mr. Fastech. Martin, who now works for me, is a nice guy. He's all right, you know, as a guy goes. No, seriously, he was Mr. Fastech, and he would promote the fuck. He hated anything to do with authentics. But over time, he has changed his opinion. But that would be for Martin to explain. But yeah, he is somebody that started on clones and then moved on to authentics. But of course, I know people that have started off on authentics and have now gone down the clone route.
Yeah, I mean, my first mech was an authentic. I had an Ali Limitless, and then I bought, I think it was like a clone Petri and a clone rig, and then I had an authentic Manhattan. You know, so I've always sort of flitted between both, and it's only recently that I've moved completely off of clones.
Where's your road clone, Stuart?
I haven't got it anymore. Gave it away.
What?
Sorry, welcome Paul into the group. Paul, for those of you that don't know you, I don't know why they wouldn't know who you are, but just want to give us a quick hi, hello, and tell us who you are.
Hi, hello. I'm Paul Harrison.
I'm an alcoholic.
I'm Paul from Shady Vaping and also Endless Mods.
I got a quick question.
Yep.
Why Shady Vaping?
Oh, it's a long story. Too long for the show.
Oh, well, we got another hour.
No, basically because I had another page on Facebook that was referred to shades, and that's basically where the name come from. But that's the short version.
Fair enough.
And I wrote a book. But that's
Just spotted a good comment from James Clark. Sorry to butt in. He says personally he thinks that clones shouldn't have the authentic logos on the actual product. A lot of people have shared that opinion over the years, that if they just copied the design of the product and kept away, you know, people's trademarks and stuff like that, that it wouldn't be as much of an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even to the point of actually cloning the serial numbers on there.
Yep, serial numbers, packaging, everything.
Which is ridiculous. I mean, again, I'm not an either camp. I don't think I do like more authentics, but actually, to be honest, I'm not into mechs enough to even think about buying a clone now. I've got two. That's all I need.
What about RDAs and ATIs and stuff?
I've got a Clone Kennedy 25, which works absolutely fine for me, and then obviously on my rig I've got the Dooby.
It's like as a vendor, there are things that annoy me. You know, like I ordered the .mod RTAs, and before they even landed, I had emails about the clones, and it's like, well, this is in the same packaging, got the same coils in the packets. It's near enough the same thing, probably the same factory, and it's like I'm paying more at wholesale than the clones are being sold for, and then I feel bad selling it for retail price despite it being set.
I mean, sorry,
I was just going to say, Paul, what's your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are that generally, as a business, we've always sold both. And the reason that we sold both was because the market's there to purchase both. We had clone AV Ables in our shop before AV had landed any authentics in the country. We've had various authentic clones in our shop before the authentics have landed. My take on clones has always been that people will always buy them. There's always going to be a market for people to buy them. I'm absolutely against wankers that sell clones as authentics, and that's my biggest bugbear with because the clones now are getting better and better and better and better, and they are becoming more one-to-one, and they do look identical, and they are coming in identical packaging, and by and large, regardless of what anyone says, they are performing very similar to the authentics because they're machined so well. I don't get the whole let's try and pass it off as an authentic. In our shop, for example, clone are in one cabinet, authentic are in another. We don't mix and match them. They're priced up accordingly.
Same as.
So on that basis, from a business point of view, clone has always been and still is a bigger part of our business. The only thing that's changed that for us in the last 12 months is basically Endless, because Endless is also in the shop and he's somewhere between clone money and low-end authentic. It fits bang smack in the middle. So that's changed the dynamics of the actual shop sales. So we're selling more Endless now than we are probably clone. But my personal opinion on clone versus authentic is that I genuinely don't think that clone products restrict the sales of the authentic devices, on the basis that if someone is going to buy an Endless clone for 25 or 30 quid instead of a £60 Endless authentic, the chances are they were never going to spend £60 on the authentic anyway. Now, Endless is probably, I'm not saying this because Endless is ours, but Endless is probably a difficult one because it's so close to clone money. So, from my point of view, if Endless got cloned tomorrow, I genuinely believe that we would increase our sales of the authentic item on the basis that there's going to be people that see, first off, vendors that get the catalogue from China that go around to X thousands of people worldwide. There's going to be people that see an Endless mod that didn't even know there was an Endless mod. So then they'll inquire, they'll look at the authentic and say, actually, this 60 quid retail. So
this is part of the reason why I think that there's less need for clones, because people like yourself who are doing things like this for the market and shaking things up a little bit and bringing down these brackets from authentic being 150 to 200 quid.
Yep.
Down to 30 quid. You close the bracket down, you're making it more accessible to everybody and shutting down the need to buy clones.
No, I agree, but I mean the reality is that I've lost my stuff.
Who's that behind you, Paul?
The reality is
I've lost where I am.
Fucking Ewok in the background.
There's Thomas Wu.
Oh, fucking hell, it's Thomas Wu. We thought you'd gone back to China, Tom. Thought Paul had returned you to your manufacturer.
I've got him here trolling out some clones. Nah, you know what? I fully understand why clone pisses people off. The reality is that there is a market for that. For people, for some people, the difference between a £25 clone and a £60 authentic is the difference of shopping being in the house. Now, I know I've seen Alex's comment many times saying if you can't afford a Ferrari, don't fucking drive a Ferrari, and I get that 100%. The reality is that some pricks do buy an MR2 and put a Ferrari kit on it. Yeah. Some people wear Lacoste t-shirts that are fake. Some people wear Nike trainers that are fake. Some people wear Ray-Ban glasses that are fake. And the truth of it is, in whatever walk of life, there's always something that's copied. Well, from a business point of view, I'm there to sell the products, because if I don't, someone else will. So, and I genuinely would rather someone be using a clone and not smoking than smoking cigarettes. I mean, the whole smoking cigarettes because they can't afford an authentic is absolutely fucking stupid anyway, because the reality is you can buy a Watofo Phantom for 30 quid.
Yeah. Well, like a same people that
yeah, absolutely. I mean, but there's people that won't wear a t-shirt from Primark, but they'll wear a £12 Lacoste fake because in their head they've got a £60 t-shirt on. That's just the way that it is. What we done with Endless was genuinely tried to put a mod out. We obviously used China for production, so we could put something out there that was authentic, that tried, because the reality is there's always going to be a stigma around clones in certain groups on Facebook, and I get that 100%. I don't particularly mix in them groups because it goes against what we do as a business, so it's pointless me trying to go in there and beat a drum and convert everyone to my style of thinking, because everyone's got their own thoughts. But our first kit was 99 quid with mod, stack, RDA. We now do one from, I think, £90 or something like that, 85 quid for a mod and an RDA. You can buy the mod on its own for £60. But there's still people that would rather come in our shop and buy the new Activist 2 clone for 35 quid than buy an Endless for 60, because in a hand check on Instagram they get more likes because people think they've got a £300 mod or a £260 mod.
But this is an interesting point as well. Some people that buy clones, in fact, I think a lot of people that buy clones are never going to buy authentics. They don't want authentics. They're not interested in them.
I don't think it's even that they're not interested. I mean, what we've seen as a business was, because when we first started the shop, we were sort of 95% clone, 5% authentic. One thing that we've never sold clone of is sort of Kangatech, Aspire, stuff like that. That's always been authentic. So the only things we've ever sold that were clone in the shop is mechanical mods and RDAs and RTAs. Again, we've never sold clone Watofo and we've never sold clone lower end authentic, because actually when we buy it, for instance, when the Fishbone come out, I think it was something like $6. It might have even been $5.50. We retailed it at $12.99. I got offered clones about 3 weeks later for $7.50. And when I question this with China, it's because they're that fucking stupid. They didn't even realise it's a Chinese company that had manufactured the RDA. All they see is a huge influx on social media, a huge amount of posts being put up on Instagram, on Facebook, clone the fuck out of it, sell it, and then they're asking me, why is the original so cheap? Because the fucking PAL 2 factories down's making it. That's why it's a Chinese authentic. But they genuinely don't know. So but then because the average price of a clone RDA is somewhere between $7 and $11, they pitch it somewhere in the middle. That'll do. And I'm like, well, you're $1.50 more than the authentic. And then they're scratching their heads because they've mass produced 10,000 of these fucking things in a week. And that's the stupidness of China right there. So, and that's why they clone Watofo and then everything else that's lower end, because they don't actually realise what the resale price is, because they're not interested. They just see lots of people hand checking it, loads of likes and stuff on Instagram, jump on the bandwagon. It's in the UK, sharpish, and then hang on a minute, the fucking original's cheaper. So that's some of the problem right there, and that problem will always be there. Although they are upping their game, and the reality is, people like American Made, they left the UK. They'd done a show in Shenzhen the following week. I know the factory there's only one factory so far to clone the Rig V3, and even though Colnbright are selling it and Rulian are selling it, and every other clone manufacturer in China is selling it, there's only one person that's manufactured it, and they bought the authentic from American Made, from Shenzhen e-cig Expo, and drove straight back to the factory and one-to-one cloned it.
But conversely to all of this about China, and Alex might be able to shed some light on this, what do you say in response to people who like look at LE authentics, for example, the LE market in authentics, the amount of markup between take Rogue as an example, because it's one that's very much usually in the spotlight. You know, a clean brass Rogue is 160 quid.
Yeah.
An etched brass Rogue is 350 quid to 400 quid.
There is more workmanship, isn't it?
Well, it's laser etched, so there's not really.
Yeah, but to be honest, Stuart, if people pay the money, then people put it up at that price.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, typically, people that are very much heavily into camp clone, what the first thing that they say in response to people in the clone versus authentic argument is, well, Rogue can get away with fucking charging 400 quid for an etched tube. Like, what the fuck's that all about? Why should I support companies that are doing that?
Yeah, there's the other side of it is that.
Sorry, the parrot's kicking off, man. He don't like clones.
Over there, I do like Stuart's voice.
You know, it's like, if you don't have to buy the limited edition if you don't want to, it's there. It's like a collector's item. Collectible versions of anything are always more money. And yeah, it's more what goes into it. Yes, it's done by a computer. Yes, someone has sat down and programmed it in and set up all the mills or laser etching. I think there is a point where it is ridiculous, like a £300 markup for a bit of laser etching. Yeah, that is a bit much. But then,
Alex, sorry to interrupt you, mate. Can you get any more volume on your mic? Because I've got you turned up to maximum in the control center, and people are still saying you're quiet.
We'll try and find a headset in a minute. Do you want try this way. So yeah, laser etching does cost more money regardless. So that's one thing. But to charge a ridiculous amount more, like £300 more, that's down to the end user whether they buy it or not.
Yeah, for sure.
If you want to pay an extra 300 quid for laser etching,
but you know, to try and play devil's advocate, China can etch a mod, you know, and they don't charge an extra 300 quid to do it.
I think you're missing the point there, Stuart. At the end of the day, is basically if no one bought that LE, right, then they'd have to drop the price. But people are paying for it, so they're going to keep it at that price.
Oh no, of course not. I'm not.
Yeah,
the bottom line is that hype sells mods.
It is good business.
But, yeah, of course, but that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm literally just trying to figure out, what do you say to people when they ask these questions? Because I don't know what to say to them. I'm not in either camp. I'm not interested in defending.
Well, you know, it's limited edition. You know, it's a one-off. You will be one of 5 people in the world to own this. But I think LE is a very elitist thing. Like, say I've got all 5 of the LE Rogues or whatever you own. It's you basically saying, look, I've got something you haven't got and you can never get. It's similar to the whole tube thing, you know. People hand tubes. It's a poser thing. Like, you want to be something. You want to show that you've got money. It's a status thing, and that's what a lot of people with fake handbags and stuff.
And that's what Paul just said.
You know what? I genuinely think that if the right person hand-checked Endless and the right people hand-checked Endless, we would sell X hundred mods between now and the end of the week.
Without a doubt.
You
No
put
doubt.
one person in Tom,
is that
really, I think, Paul.
I mean, you know what? My issue with Clone and Authentic is that as a business, I know that we 100% have sold Clone to people that are unsafe for vapors, hand checking limitless clones with an authentic button from Evolution Vaping, with an authentic sleeve from Evolution Vaping, blowing smoke up people's asses because if they don't, they get abused for using using Clone. And that is my issue with this whole bollocks about Clone versus Authentic. Not whether it should be allowed. Just the fact is, and I've said this, and I'll use these statements over and over again. If you abuse people for using a clone, you're a cunt. And if you abuse people for using Authentic, you're a cunt. So don't be a cunt. Because actually,
Yeah.
I don't get the whole, oh my God. I've seen people hand checking stabilised wood mods that are 700 quid. And 2 days before, there's pictures of their kids with their fucking shoes ripping on their feet. But they got 2,000 likes on Instagram. So everything that week's fucking hunky-dory. And the same people will slate people for using clones who have decided to spend 40 quid on a new pair of shoes for their kids. So there's more about prioritising things in your life. The bottom line is, as Alex has always said, if that is your financial situation, then don't use the clone. Buy an authentic Phantom for 30 quid, or buy an authentic Endless for 60 quid, or buy an authentic limitless aluminium secondhand for 50 quid. But that's just not how it's going to be. But there is people that use. We've sold Endless to lots and lots of people, and there's people that will never ever hand check an Endless mod because it's not elite enough, it's not high end enough, it's not expensive. But they're using it to work and they're bashing it out every day.
I've got on your mods, and I don't use it as often as I do because I typically go regulated personally. And it sits on my shelf, it's in full view. They want to see what it is. Let them have a look at it. My missus has gone Endless as well. She uses it, and so personally, I just don't deal with mechs a lot and don't really hand check.
Yeah. No, I haven't got an issue with it. I don't give a shit if someone buys an Endless and throws it in the bin. They've bought the Endless, and I've made my money. But the point that I'm making is that there is a hell of a lot of snobbery and elitism around vaping. Now, me personally,
there is.
I don't use clone equipment because I'm fortunate enough that I can buy whatever I want to buy. As far as I don't mean that in a fucking blowing smoke up my own arse, but if I want to spend £200 on a mod, I'm in a fortunate enough position to be able to do that. That said, 3 years ago, I used clone mods. I still own a clone shock and awe mod because genuinely it's one of the best conducting mods that I've ever used, and I've never come across an authentic to buy. So that's the only clone that I've got in my collection. Every clone that comes into the shop, either me or one of the member staff will set one up, will rig it up, will use it to make sure that it works and works as it should work. But there's so much snobbery around the fact that, why should you use a limited edition clone when I've had to pay £400? Well, because you wanted to pay £400 and they only wanted to pay £25. I don't get the whole.
It's a choice. You're right. It's a personal choice. Like, you chose to spend that money. It's on you. There's the other side of it. Like, a mod. If you got clone, I'm sure you wouldn't be. You'd probably be happy for the promotion, but unhappy that someone's ripping off your products. So if you look at it this way, the way I look at it, about ethically, in my opinion, it's that if someone has put in hours and hours of work to make something and design something to the best that they can do it, and it gets ripped off by somebody else, I put it in the same camp as having your job outsourced. Like, if you work in vaping shops, you're very fortunate. Your jobs can't be outsourced. But if you work in a factory, of steel mills and stuff, and your job gets outsourced to China.
Okay. Let me flip this on its head then, Alex. We launched a rib sleeve at Expo last May, and last June I sent a parcel over to America to Eric, and in October this year they launched the Activist 2, which is a blatant copy of our sleeve, an absolute 100% blatant copy of our sleeve. And if I launched a mod tomorrow that had a top hat and a sleeve and a switch in to AVs, every cunt in the country would abuse me for copying AV's design. AV
Yeah.
have blatantly copied my
No,
sleeve, turned it into a mod, and not no one anywhere will ever say, what a bunch of wankers, because there's too much hype around them, and no one wants to go against the grain, and no one wants to say that AV's a bunch of arseholes, but they blatantly copied something that we'd done after I sent it to Eric as a gift. But flip that on its head, and I'd have been called all the cunts under the sun. And quite frankly, there's other UK companies that are making stuff that is blatant copies of other stuff, but because they've called it something else, they get away with it. And, and when we launched the first sleeve mod, I got a load of hate about cloning the Limitless. Now, I've never once denied that our design was based on a Limitless mod, and that was pretty much to do with the fact that I'd invested over £3,000 of my own money into Limitless, and quite frankly, it didn't do what I wanted it to do. So we modified it.
In that situation, you've been inspired by it, basically.
But we took it to the next level, whereby our sleeve won't fit a Limitless mod because it's too long. You can't change the top hat on a Limitless, you can on ours. You can't stack a Limitless, you can on ours. And actually the clean mod and the cleaner mod and the new RDAs and the 2x2 deck, I've tried to genuinely do something that's different. But the truth of it is that because I'm Paul from England and because we sell clones, if I launch 26650 tomorrow that's stackable and it's got a sleeve the same size as the Endo and it's got a top hat design on it, every man in the world will say, "Fucking hell, he's copied the Endo." But no one ever said.
3 or 4 years ago, there was the Congestors. It was a single 18650, which is 26, or stackable 26650, and that was 3 or 4 years ago. So a lot of stuff, everything is a regurgitation of the same thing in a different style or a different fashion.
There's only so much ultimately that could be done with the tune. Now we're genuinely working on something that no one at this minute in time has done. So when we launch the next mod, there's people talking about it, but I'm hoping if we can get it out quick enough that we'll do something that no one else has done. And if someone copies that idea, I mean, as much as it doesn't piss me off that AV have copied the sleeve and turned it into a mod. What pisses me off is if I use my own sleeve design now and turn it into a mod, as TVL have pretty much done the same sort of thing with their latest releases, everyone would say, "Fucking hell, you've copied all them." And actually, we done that rib sleeve, and there weren't a rib sleeve like it 12 months ago, Neela.
It's like, without putting you down in any way, shape, or form, because you are the little guy compared to AV, they can take your ideas and do what they want with it.
It's the shit rolls downhill principle, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I get that 100%, and I'm happy with that. But genuinely, from my personal point of view, when we launched the first sleeve mod, which was only December, just over 12 months ago, as far as I'm aware, we were the first people to put in a package a mod that was single or stackable in a package and sold it as a single or stackable device. And in the last 12 months, AV have launched a stackable, Rig have stacked their mod, Broadside have bought out a stackable, Eric's doing the Endo, and Eric copied the sleeve. Now, genuinely, from my point of view, as a little man from Birmingham who invested every penny I had in the first lot of Endless because we didn't do a pre-order because I don't believe in them. I put all my money into something that I believed in, and fortunately, it's gone fantastically well for us.
Yeah.
But the fact that them people appear to be using what we're doing as the stackable was not available before we'd done that sleeve mod. It actually they launched it in about February last year, the stackable extension. So that was 2 months after we'd done the first sleeve mod. But in November we actually launched the mod. But all them things for me just proved to me that I'm going down the right track of doing what we need to do. And
imitation in serious form of flattery, isn't it?
No, I just think that if I can sit here and scratch my head and think, you know what, that'd be a good idea. I mean, when I first messaged China and said we want to do a stack mod, the Chinese thought I was fucking crazy, and they were saying, no, you can't do that. It's going to blow up because they don't understand the concept of the resistance of the coil against the volts of the battery. So that they would just say, no, this is fucking crazy. You can't do it. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think this argument would ever end. I don't think it's a never-ending argument. Always people on both sides of the fence.
But that sort of exposes a bit of a point, Paul, that whilst the argument should divide opinions, it shouldn't divide vapors, and
I agree.
That's the big issue.
We're all doing it for the same reason.
Absolutely.
And if you can only, if you can only afford a clone for £6, then that's that. But to be fair, anyone who's trying to quit smoking doesn't need to go out and have a mech. They don't need a dripper. They don't need a mech.
What really upsets me, I think you hit the nail on the head, Paul, is that actually it wasn't, it was Stu, sorry. That people are going against each other. We all have a similar thing in common. We all want to get off the cigarettes. We all want to be healthier. We all want to live longer. Okay. The guy next to me is using a 12 quid Able clone. The guy to the right of me is using £145 connoisseur.
You got 3 guys in your bedroom.
Yeah. They're both in it for the same reason. But there is this massive hatred between the two groups. I've seen it. You've got, excuse this, the elitist cunts, and you've got the cloners, and they actually despise each other as people.
But do they despise each other, Mark, or do they feel that they should despise each other because of the circles that they're mixing in on Facebook?
Well, that's exactly it. It's fucking snowballing.
I think that's a part, Paul. That is a big part of it. That is a big part of it, because I am in some of the elitist groups, and I've seen hand checks and mods exchange for thousands and thousands of pounds over retail. I've seen it happen because people are throwing their financial weight around a lot of time, and it's like, I've owned £1,000 mod, and I like the aftercare. Something happens to it, I send it back. It comes back to me in a better condition it went there. If there's any upgrades or retrofit upgrades, I'm back with that. So for me, buying elitist stuff sometimes, the aftercare is fantastic.
Does that make you a cunt, Alex?
Pardon?
Does that make you a cunt, Alex?
Yeah, I suppose so.
But basically, at the end of the day, they all do the same fucking thing.
No, I do agree. Vaping is vaping regardless, right? But we keep going to this point of quitting smoking, stopping smoking. As long as smoking is all good, right? But I don't know anyone who quit using a cloud beast.
But this is another interesting point, is that the clone versus authentic argument lies mainly in mechanicals.
Exactly.
You don't need to vape a mech to not smoke, and that again.
You can buy a POC-X, or Paul loves his Plato from time to time. I know after to a Plato.
I'm on an AO.
Yeah. See, it's you don't have to.
Hey, look, talk about elitism. I'm on 29.99. That's Tasha's mod. I can't even afford one of them cunts.
Have you not got one of them stabwood sleeves for your eye cares yet, Paul?
Huh?
Have you not got one of them eye cares with the stabwood sleeve yet?
No, I was sick on it and I froze it. And I'm just waiting for it to set, and then I'm going to. You know what? But the point is, Alex, that the reason why people use tube mech, in my opinion, is because not necessarily the old school vapors, because there's a lot of old school vapors that are vape mech and they only vape mech because that's what they know and that's what they do. As someone who retails, it's become very, very cool. It's become very cool to use a tube mod. It's become very cool to blow a big cloud. And one thing that I struggle with in our shop is, regardless of how much business we do on clone mech or authentic mech or endless mech, we still do more than 65% of our business is purely geared around people that are either still smoking cigarettes and we want them to stop smoking, or they're using something like that to stop them from smoking cigarettes. Now, because I have always lunged to vape from the mouth to lung from the start. If I don't mouth to lung, I'm going to smoke a cigarette even now after 4.5 years. I can be chuffing that all day at 0.08. Oh my God, my battery's going to blow up. Or I can be chuffing that at 0.08 and I can do 60 ml of liquid and I'm still smoking that like I would a cigarette all the way through that evening, because that doesn't stop me feeling the need for a cigarette. But when I'm out and I'm using it, it's cool. It's as simple as that. And that's. But then you're going to be
customers regularly, like, you know, because of, like, obviously the demographic where I am is a bit different to yours, and it's the conversation goes on the lines of, you want to quit smoking, all right? I want clouds. So when did you get clouds out of a cigarette? No, you can't adjust the power in your cigarette. You can't adjust the power in your cigarette. And a POC X is a direct cigarette replacement, or as close as it can be, or a Spyro kit and all the sex. It's as close as you can get. You don't need big smoke. If you want big smoke, then, you know, buy something to have fun with, but have a direct cigarette replacement. Because, you know, when I tried to quit 4 years ago, I skipped from a Ego pen to a DNA 30 with a Trident dripper, and I found myself lapsing back towards cigarettes all the time. And then, you know, something like, is that a jewel you've got or a bow, Paul?
It's a bow. I've got a couple of bows, and
Yeah.
the AO is what I'll use for replacing my cigarettes.
I've got my jet as well. Like, it's like a bow, closed system, refillable. I chuck an 18 milligram theory in there, and it sits in my pocket. And if I'm busy and I haven't got a vape to hand, I'll pick it up and use that.
So, I mean, you're talking about giving up cigarettes and stuff, and using a POC X and stuff. We have some in our store, but we get quite a lot of customers which go straight to basically cloud blowing, TFE8s and stuff like that, O-sub kits and stuff, because they don't want to give up cigarettes.
Have you established whether they've used vapes before?
No, hang on. I haven't finished. Not because they want to give up cigarettes, because they want to give up shisha. We've got a lot of shisha bars and shisha users.
Different thing.
It's
a different thing. You know, a cloud setup is a shisha replacement, so to speak, and a POC X is a cigarette replacement.
I mean, our most common question now is,
do
you smoke cigarettes or do you do shisha? Do you smoke cigarettes or do you do shisha? Are you looking to, which one are you looking to give up? It's quite a common question in our place.
Now, well, you know what? I've spent more time in our shop in the last 3 months than I did for the 12 months prior to that. And one thing that I've noticed is, and actually Tom was down our shop from 9:30 this morning, and when I got to the shop around about 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Sorry, Paul, I don't believe you even got up this morning.
But what Tom said to me today when I got there at 4 is, obviously, having worked in other vape shops, there's a lot of vape shops that by default have gone down the route of attracting people that lung inhale. And what he said today sat in ours when I was speaking to him at 4 o'clock. He said it was mad because from sort of 9:30 till 1 o'clock, it was mainly middle-aged men, middle-aged women, older women. They come in, they get the liquid, they get the coil. Our staff will stick the new coil in for them and refill the tank for them. And then as it got past sort of 3 o'clock, when the jag's finished, you get the younger lads coming in and they want their calls for the TFE8. Now, we left the shop around about 5 o'clock, but we shut at 8:30 every night. What I've found being down there till 8:30 is that normally between 6 and 8:30 is when the snapback wearing, ear stretchers, tattoos, mods, they're the people that are coming in of an evening. Now, which is cool. Yeah, which Tom should have went down there at 6 o'clock. But I mean, so as a business, we still have such a wide range of customers that we do not allow our staff to use MechMod in our shop before 6 p.m. because I don't want Doris, who's 64, waving away through a cloud of smoke. But more importantly than that, I don't want Bob, who's still smoking, to come up to the doors of the shop and then say, fuck that, that's not what I want in my living room. I'm better off sticking on the cigarettes, because they don't know that is not for, in my opinion, 90% of people that lung inhale do it for hobby, and 10% do it because it genuinely stops them from smoking cigarettes. Whenever we've had people coming from our competitors saying, I've bought this new kit 2 weeks ago and I'm still smoking cigarettes, 9 times out of 10, it's something like the Coolfire 100 Plus that comes with the tank that has to be sub-ohms, because even if you turn the air down and you turn the watts up and restrict the air, you cannot make it run properly.
Yeah.
And shops are dishing out these £60 kits to people saying, you want to get off the fags, mate? Oh, I'll take one of these kits. They're fucking all in one, everything you need. Actually, we've been selling more tanks to people because I'm saying, look, your mod's okay, but use a Nautilus X or use something like that where you can mouth to lung, and now you've still got your lung tank. So if you want to act like Johnny Concrete in front of your pals, put your lung tank on, blow some clouds. When you feel like you're clucking for a cigarette, screw your other tank back on and smoke it like you would a cigarette.
Yeah, exactly
But
that.
Most shops are not interested in that. They want to put the cloud stuff out there, because you buy an Alien, 60 quid, pair of batteries, another 12 or 15 quid, 60 ml of liquid, 20 quid. 3 days time they're back in for 20 ml more liquid because they start knocking the back out of liquid left, right and centre. Well,
and coils.
Yeah,
the kid putting their coils out.
And then obviously you get someone dripping who's been using the mouth to lung, and they're back in by fucking 2 o'clock in the afternoon saying, my 10 ml high VG's done. I need 100 ml. So some shops are actually using this as an advantage as far as sales is concerned. But genuinely, from my point of view, it's about making sure that our customer leaves our shop with the right device. So if a young kid comes in and says, I use shisha, I don't smoke cigarettes, I do want to blow a cloud, knock yourself out and buy an Alien or buy a coal fire kit or whatever you want. If someone comes into our shop and says, my mate's blowing a big cloud, I want to stop smoking fags, I'll always try and talk them out of anything that involves lung inhaling. Because in my opinion, and for me personally, it certainly didn't stop me. And my experience over the last 4.5 years retailing the products is that most people do not stop smoking on lung inhaling. And regardless of what...
The vast majority of our sales are restricted lung or mouth to lung. I think most shops...
You know, those sort of starter kits, like I've had a couple of people come in, we'll start with a Drip Box 160. Because it says starter kit on it. You know? They walk in with that thing bought online, and they're like, it's too much for me. Like, well, that's a starter kit. It's not the right thing. You know, if people want to blow clouds, you know, like Paul says, it's well and good. They can do that as much as they want, but they're gonna fall back to cigarettes. And 9 times out of 10, those who want to blow clouds, they're between, 18 and 25.
Yeah, you know what pisses me off though, Alex? It's because if you go into a shop, and the same as any of us, when we all first started, we relied on information off someone who knew what they were doing. So if someone comes into our shop and says, I want to give up cigarettes, and I sell them an Alien kit and tell them that they're going to need around about 30 to 40 ml a day because it's going to blow the arse out of their juice. They're going to need a pair of batteries. They're going to want to buy an external charger because it's much safer to charge it that way. Yeah. In 2 weeks' time, when he's still spending 7 or 8 quid a day on 20 fags, not only does he not come back to me and buy anything, but he tells all of his pals that vaping's shit and it doesn't stop you from smoking. Now, from my point of view, when they come in and say, I want to give up cigarettes, I will do my damnedest as someone who mouth-to-lung vapes to try and talk them into a mouth-to-lung kit. Stop buying cigarettes, use the mouth-to-lung kit, give yourself 3 weeks. By that time, you will have saved approximately 160 quid, investing £60 to buy a second kit for fucking impressing your friends. But if you want to stop smoking, keep hold of the one that I've just sold you.
Right, guys.
But every kit sold incorrectly to someone, potentially they're telling probably 500 people on their Facebook and everyone at work that vaping doesn't work. Now, and I know that it does work, and that's why I'm passionate, genuinely, about giving my customer the right device, not the most expensive, not the cheapest, what's right for them. I mean, if someone comes in who smokes fags a day, I'll always try and talk them out of a C4 and a fucking 650. I know it's not going to give them enough of a hit. Vice versa, they haven't got to use what Tasha's using and walk around with a £450 mod in their hand. There's something there for 30 quid that will cover most people's needs as far as not wanting a cigarette's concerned. So that's just where we are as a business, and obviously everyone's different. But there is companies out there that don't actually stock that. They haven't got. In fact, there's a lot of shops that I can't go into and buy 12 milligram menthol because actually they go, oh, we only do 3 or 6, mate. High VG. That's not what I fucking want.
What I can see from here is that we're, all retailers seem to be singing from the same sheet. Most of us are all doing the same thing. We're all trying to encourage the mouth to lung. We're trying to stop people from stop smoking rather than chucking big clouds. I'd like to thank Alex and Paul this evening. We've got a couple of more guys that are coming on just to have a quick chat with us before we finish. Thanks a lot to Alex. Thanks a lot to Paul. Thanks for having a sterling job, and we'll speak to you both soon.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. Cheers, guys. I'll tell you what, this has been the easiest fucking show so far.
Now, what it's really good to hear and talk to other retailers, and whilst this program is we were talking about authentics and clones. Two guys from two very similar shops, both have very, very, very different shops. Sorry, both have very, very similar ideas. I'm just going to stick the links out to the other two guys. You two.
Well, I think what we heard from Paul and Alex sort of confirms that point, that whilst it can divide opinions, it shouldn't divide the industry. If you bear in mind that that's two guys, one sells.
I'm laughing because you used that line again. You're so proud of that line.
Yes, well, it's an easy to remember thing, isn't it?
It's good. I'll be proud too.
The point is, like, you've got two people that run very different businesses. One sells an equal amount of clones, caters to all price ranges. The other sells much more in the line of authentic, and most of his cheaper stuff is on the regulated line. And you stick them in a room and you tell them to argue clone versus authentic, and they spend about 15 minutes talking clone versus authentic, and then half an hour talking let's all make sure people don't smoke. So it kind of reaffirms that point that it's not really about clone versus authentic. No one really gives a fuck about clone versus authentic. What we're in it for is to not smoke.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got one of our next guests in. This is Dylan. He is firmly attached to Team Clone. Good evening.
Hello.
Hi, Dylan.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, who's this guy? Well, I don't even.
Who's this then?
Who the fuck have you booked in, Mark?
I'm just waiting for our authentic. Just waiting for our authentic guy to come in.
Can we have a fight?
Dylan, do you just want to? Oh, and we've got our other one, Ben. Good evening.
Oh, fucking hell, this won't get heated then.
Elitist cunt.
Fight yourself, bitches.
Ben, never opinionated gardeners joining us.
Most of you will
There's a
know.
reason why we've never had Ben on the show.
This is why I left him with the last 15 minutes.
Right, I'll mute myself. Crack on.
He's fucking drinking a can of Relentless as well. This is going to go south.
I'm not drinking one. I'm drinking about 8.
Jesus.
Oh, fuck.
Resting heart rate of a serial killer.
Cracking. So, we've got Ben, which he is obviously not obviously, but he is on the authentic camp. Previously, you were a team member of Reg, is that correct?
Yep.
And now also a team member of Rogue.
Rogue.
We've got.
Ben.
And we've also got Dylan. Dylan, do you want to start? Obviously, we had a brief chat via PM prior to this. The reasons that I contacted you for the show were basically some of your ideas, and you're quite eloquent in the way that you came forward. Just talk us through some of your feelings towards the sort of clone and authentic market.
Well, I'm obviously quite young. I'm 19. I've never really been in the vape industry. I've never been working in a vape shop, anything like that. I'm just a consumer, really. And for me, I think it's much easier and more, what's the word, available, really, to buy clones. Because...
Hang on, sorry, Dylan. I'm going to mute Ben just while you talk, and then and then once you finish, then we'll unmute Ben. I don't know if you know Ben, but he's a fucking idiot.
Brilliant. So am I. But yeah, it's just for a consumer standpoint. I think anyone, if you want something, you want it as cheap as possible, really. And I'd rather not pay more than maybe £50 for a nice Mac, really. If it's really nice and I've got the money, I might treat myself. But other than that, it's really a case of I can get it here cheapest, so I'll get it here.
Okay. If you let's, I don't want to make assumptions. Let's say that your choice is to spend £50, for example. Your example, spend £50 on a Mac. I don't know where I was heading with that. That's completely thrown me.
I'm gonna fucking sleep then. Go on, spit it out.
Basically, all I'm saying is there a reason that you'd go for a clone over authentic, or what might sway you towards perhaps buying an authentic?
Like I said before, if it's there and I have the money, I'll get it. So if I've got £500 in the bank and I can spend that, and I go to the shop and the first thing I see is an authentic AV, I'll go grab that because that's what I'm after. I'm okay spending that amount of money at that given time. Why not? But if I do come across a clone first, I'll go for the clones, and 9 times out of 10, that's the case.
Yeah.
So do you genuinely think that it's an availability issue? Like,
not really for everyone, but for me, yes. But obviously,
can I unmute, Bank, you unmute yourself because you got right to reply now. I just I want to see some tension going on now.
Don't they have the fucking internet over in Ireland then?
Here we go.
Oh Christ!
I mean, it's not the obvious, but the availability argument is such bollocks.
Right, it's been a great night. Thank you very much. See you later.
That's what I said for myself. It's more available to buy a clone. For me, obviously everyone's situation is going to be much different.
What's the availability like in Ireland?
It's all right. There's only about, well, off the top of my head, one shop that sells a lot of mechs and has a lot of variety in them, and that would be. Am I allowed to shout out pages and shops? Is that okay? Yeah, Titanic Vapor. It's where I get pretty much all of my mechs, all of my mods and wire, and most of my things anyway. But they pretty much only stock on the ones.
Can I just say something? If I was opening up a vape shop, the last name I think of is Titanic. I know it's probably because it was around about the area.
I know, I've thought about that too.
But, you know, it's a sinking ship, isn't it?
I think it's because, obviously, if you can't tell from the accent, I'm from Belfast, so it's a big patriotism thing for over here to love the Titanic despite it being a complete
thousands of people that are proud of something that went down on its first night out.
A bit like your mum, Stuart.
Hey, there we go. I set it up for someone. Ben took it.
Like your mum, Stuart.
Brilliant. Ben, talk to us. Be nice. Heel, boy, heel. Ben, talk to us. Obviously, you're an authentic guy. Why do you choose authentic over clones?
Because they're affordable. I'm not on about some of the stuff that I own. I've spent silly money on mods. In fact, I've spent silly money with you on mods. But there's so much affordable authentic now. When we first started, there wasn't. Simple as that, it wasn't. Everything was expensive. But now, literally, right, in about 10 minutes, I sat on Hangouts with someone and I listed, this is a page of every single RDA that I could think of in 10 minutes that's under 30 quid, that's genuine. You can't sit there and go, oh, well, I want this, but, and that's new. That's not second hand. If you want second hand, that price plummets. I mean, I've literally got a box down here somewhere.
Okay, he was fucking prepared, weren't he?
all genuine. Every single one of them is genuine. And most of them cost under 30 quid. So the whole argument over cost is bollocks. Availability, bollocks. You've got the internet. You're on the fucking internet to prove that you've got it. So the whole readily available argument is bullshit. It's just about lazy.
I don't think that Ben is necessarily having a pop at Dylan. I think he's
no, just in general, not necessarily at Dylan, but the availability argument. Just do you know how many of my local shops sell mechs? None. Not fucking one. And you don't see me running out and buying clones. There is affordable RDAs that are all genuine, and that's the biggest argument I have. And it's not that I'm against. It's not even that I'm against clones, because I started on clones. But when I started vaping, the price of a genuine was stupid amounts. Like, genuinely stupid amounts. 120 quid for a tank and shit like that. And now, it's just not there.
Dylan, if I gave you £1,000, not that I ever will, but if I gave you £1,000, right, and I said, right, buy one item, what would you buy, authentic or clone?
I'd probably treat myself and go authentic.
So it's more about affordability than availability.
Yeah, really, because I'm not one for liking spending a lot of money, and I don't think really anyone is.
I
But
don't as well. I've got a young child and everything. That's why I rely on kickbacks, like
because he's a big deal.
the connoisseur. Yeah,
The Rickbacks.
the Rickbacks. Actually, that endless looked really nice, didn't it? Ooh, ooh.
Like that.
I can see myself vaping one of those.
What
yeah.
that endless that I paid full retail for. That I paid my own boss full retail for.
Well, you're not that big a deal yet.
It's called supporting the fucking industry that you care about, mate.
But no, I think with most things in general, not just vaping, it's I want to do it as cheaply as physically possible for me. That's just myself.
I mean, why vape? If you're not a hobbyist, you don't regard yourself as a hobbyist. So why vape on more money than it's going to cost you to smoke?
But then how many fags did you used to smoke? Did you smoke Taylor? Did you smoke roll up? What?
Me, I smoke roll up.
Smoke roll up. So how much would you have spent on?
About 20 a week.
About 20 a week.
That's $1,000 a year, isn't it? It's a little over $1,000 a year.
For that money, you can get genuine that I've got, as Alex has already said, and as the others have already covered, right? The aftercare side of it. No one gives a shit if Kim Jong-il throws a fucking RDA off the production line. He don't give a fuck if it blows up in your hand. But if you sit there and buy a twisted message, for example, and you buy the genuine item and something goes wrong with it, you've got somewhere to go with it. They will fix it.
Unless it's what I think.
But it's the same with other things like guitar and gaming and stuff. I will buy cheap things because I know if it does get broke or something does go wrong, regardless of whether there's a warranty or it can be repaired easily, I would rather just go out and buy a brand new cheaply. You know, it's
what. So you'd rather buy it twice than buy it right the first time. You're spending the same amount of money in theory on some of these clones. If you bought 2 or 3 of them, you could buy the genuine item and be able to return it and fit and not have.
Well, if something breaks 2 or 3 times, you probably won't use it again.
And to be fair, I've done that back in the days when we first started at Vape. All we sold was clones. That was all we sold. We didn't sell, obviously, tanks, Kangara and Aspire and everything else. They were authentic, but everything else was clones, and that's where we started. And I used to love what was the Eden mods, the tank that they used to the Rose V2. I bet you I bought 10 clones. Kept breaking. And at the end of the day, I should have just bought the fucking authentic.
I don't. The Rose is actually really nice. I have one.
I really like the Rose, and I'd probably like to go back and give it another try. It was a good mouth to low.
Apparently, the Rose 3 you can actually long hit, but that's not what we're talking about.
No.
But the fact of the matter is, back then the price of a genuine Rose was astronomical.
Yeah,
and there wasn't the market. There wasn't the market there that there is now for the affordable genuine products.
I'm well aware that there is loads, and I'm not denying that there's loads of affordable genuines out there. But my point still remains that for some people, myself included, it's still quite out of the budget.
But you've already said that you would buy 2 clones rather than buying 1 genuine.
Well, yeah, but that's short or small amounts of money over a longer period of time as opposed to 1 lump sum. I think that just works out easier for me.
I don't agree with that mentality, but then I don't take out a Wonga loan either, so it's the same. If you think about it, you could save up for a Wonga loan. What they're like, right? They're on about a small amount of money over a short period of time that you can pay off. But it's the same principle. You could save up that money because you're still paying it out every fucking week. Why not save up the money for a couple of weeks and then buy the genuine and not have the problems, rather than, well, fuck it, let's take the quick option.
Well, I did actually do that once with my first good authentic atomizer was this goon right here, and honestly, I kind of regret buying it because all my clones are exactly the same. Maybe a slight difference in the etching, but performance-wise, quality-wise, I found them to be spot on. So I don't really.
That's another marked difference, though, is what you perceive as quality. Like, quality isn't a universal thing. if you don't understand where that extra quality comes from, you can't see it, and it's as if it doesn't exist.
But as Paul said, not all authentics are quality products.
Yeah, of course they're not. Of course not. But what I'm saying is, like, if I vape a clone goon, I don't get as good a flavour as I do off an authentic goon. I can build them exactly the same, and the clone goon won't give me as good a performance.
Is that in your head, Stu?
Yeah, I think that's
maybe it is.
I would call that kind of in the head sort of thing. It's simplicity.
Maybe it is, but what it leads to at the end of the day is that I'm going to buy a real goon. I own 2 goons, and I've had 1 clone, and I bought a clone and didn't get on great with it. Tried a real one, got on much better with it, and now I own 2.
I like James's goons are only £55. Tins of beans are 7p, so you can survive. What I thought he was getting at that point was you could probably make a goon out of a tin of beans, which you probably could. But no, he's yeah. To be honest, 7p beans aren't going to be healthy for you, James, which is why you're ginger and fat.
Plus, it's all about the cheese, James, and that ratio.
Yeah, the cheese. You got to have a good ratio of cheese to. Oh, by the way, just in case you don't know, which you probably don't to all our audience, Ben here, he was pretty much, myself and Ben together, stayed up one night at Expo. Apart from making sweet love, that's where the Riaz Rundown come from, wasn't it, Ben?
Yeah.
Ben had like 20 cans of Red Bull and kept me awake all night.
Pussy.
It was nice. Yeah. So just a bit of history between Ben. He's still a cunt. But...
I've come to live with it.
Ben, it would appear that you're sponsored by somebody else as well.
Huh?
It would appear you're sponsored by someone else as well.
Yes.
It looked like Dale had thrown up over you.
I was half tempted to put on loads of t-shirts and then just keep taking them off. But then I realised already.
I can't remember the name of it, but that's the logo where it's like the T and then the Y, isn't it?
Yorkshire Vapor.
Yeah. Right. There's a lot of confusion in one of my local vape groups because the Titanic Vapor logo
is a copy.
It's very, very similar.
It's a clone.
Yeah, that's because they copied.
Yeah. No, they had no idea about it before, and somebody had messaged them and said, "Right, we're going to have to do a new logo."
Yeah, but Toeface said that about all their clones. No idea. No, don't know what it is. We'll just call this a scoundrel.
No, I think they have since changed it because people have realized that, hey, this is pretty much identical.
You think?
Yeah, because they claimed the logo. Look at chat. It's a fucking TYB takeover. Absolute bollocks. They took our logo and took the fucking Y out of it.
Fucking hell, of all the things to come up, it's almost like this was planned.
the clone logos. Ryan Dorr, Yorkshire who? Yeah, that's my thoughts. Who's that? You wouldn't recognise from Ben. No, it's a brand.
Right, so we're coming up towards the end of the show. I'd like to thank Ben and also Dylan for coming on. I'm sorry that we didn't get more time to sort of sit down and talk to you properly. Hopefully we'll be able to do this again sometime. But nice seeing you guys. Thank you both very much.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks for doing, guys.
Yeah, cheers for your time this evening, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Fantastic. Well, been an eye-opener tonight, hasn't it?
What do you mean, the fact that we're no further on the debate?
Well, it's interesting that users have very different agendas to retailers, though.
Say again.
It's interesting that users have a very different agenda to the retailers.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
In terms of priorities, I mean, like how quickly did the retailers actually go off topic and start discussing other stuff?
And say how very similar they are.
Yeah, but then to be honest, both Ben and Dylan both vape. It's just that Dylan wants to save a bit of money, and Ben well, but as long as I've known Ben, he's spent fucking millions of pounds at these expos. He just likes to be an elitist prick. Oh, he's my favourite. He's my favourite. Chris JB, hangout link. Ooh. Should we post a fake hangout link for JB and then post the rest
Good.
to the right? I think we'll close on this message from Juan. Fuck clones. No, don't. You can finish this smart. This has been your show. It's been actually a really good show because we've not really done much talking.
Yeah, you've had a night off, Rick. Not that you didn't join us till halfway anyway.
Oh, well, you know.
No, fantastic. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us this evening. Thank you very much to Rick and Stuart, and also Tom for sitting on a sofa and watching.
Cheers, Tom. Good that you couldn't be here for a good reason.
Thanks to who have we had on? We've had Alex. Thanks to Alex. Thanks to Paul. Thanks to Ben, and thanks to Dylan. We look forward to seeing you all next week. I'm not sure what the agenda is. I think I'm sure it'll be something just as interesting.
I don't know. Might have an announcement next week. Tune in next week to find out about something that you probably already know. Anyway,
see you next week on the greatest vape show in the world.
Have a good week, guys. See you next week.
Cheers,
Known
boys.
to man. Ooh, stick it right in my pussy.
I'm the one that's got to stop the broadcast.